Let's get more from political analyst Richard Heydarian joining me from Manila. Richard, there have been confrontations between Chinese and Filipino vessels in the same area before, but is what we have seen over the weekend an escalation?
Well, actually, what happened over the weekend was a kind of a double whammy crisis because on one hand, you had Chinese boats water cannoning a vessel that in this case actually had no less than the former spokesman and now the chief of the armed forces of the Philippines on board. So if an incident had happened there, if the Philippine military chief was injured, then we could have looked at a very perilous situation. At the same time, there was a Christmas convoy of a civil society group aboard a civilian vessel, which was supposed to go into the area in order to show its support and solidarity with the Filipino soldiers and to somehow support the Philippine claims in the area. That boat was actually intimidated by a number of Chinese warships, not just Coast Guard vessels or militia, but warships. So you had two incidents at the same time happening over the weekend, and it's clear China is trying to signal to the Philippines that it is willing to take the initiative, it is willing to risk the armed conflict, and it's also challenging the United States in terms of its alliance commitments to the Philippines.
How does Manila plan to manage this increasingly adversarial relationship with China, given that China is the Philippines' largest trading partner as well?
Well, I mean, China is the largest trading partner of a lot of countries in the region. It doesn't say really much because, in fact, China earns more out of its trade with the Philippines than the other way around. It's really investment that matters, high-quality investment, and that's something that did not come. We didn't have a debt trap with China. We had a pledge trap. China promised $24 billion in investments to previous President Rodrigo Duterte. Really not much came in, and not to mention the militarization and harassment in South China Sea continued. Now, as far as the Philippines is concerned, it wants a good relationship with China, but it doesn't want that under conditions of subjugation. It wants to negotiate with China, potential compromise, but from a position of strength. So under President Marcos Jr., the Philippines has been doubling down its alliances and its presence in the area in order to have that leverage and better position of negotiation.
Briefly, Richard, speaking of this position of strength, what is the extent to which the Philippines is prepared to go to defend its claims in the South China Sea?
Well, I think the Philippines is really risking the potential direct conflict with China at the current rate, but it's just defending its own sovereign rights. So, I mean, we have a lot of gaslighting of the Philippines as if the Philippines is the Ocean provocateur, but it's not the Philippines claiming 85% of the entire South China Sea basin. This second Thomas Shoal is a low tide elevation within the Philippine waters exclusive economic zone. No one else can claim it. It is an extension of the Philippine exclusive economic zone, and the Philippines is not alone. Not only the United States, Japan, Australia, European partners, but new partners like India are also increasingly assisting the Philippines to have a better position of strength when it comes to dealing with China.
Always a pleasure talking to you, Richard. Thanks so much for today.